Okay, so we need to get this big tower down safely, and I've bought this winch. I thought we'd have a look at it before we start digging holes and stuff. These 12 volts, we've got a couple of batteries, so let's unpack this and I'll show you what we've got. Aha, so that's handy. We can walk around and activate this remotely. So that's Kevlar, not steel, and this is a light alloy kind of thing. I'm going to dig a small scaffold pole in the ground at 45 degrees because if we take our 45 degree scaffold pole, bolt this to it, when the falling derrick comes up, in the main it will be kind of up there. So we'll have to fabricate a way of mounting this 45 degrees the wrong way. So I'll have to get a nice piece of steel, angled steel, thinking about it, and we can then drill and bolt. Get a piece of steel about that thick, which is just over 1/4 of an inch, 6 mil by the look of it. We're going to dig this hole, obviously 45 degrees. I've got a scaffold pole which will cut in half. It's already a cut off. I'm running out of scaffold poles, unfortunately. I want to get this tower down because I want to salvage one of the alloy poles. What we're going to do, so this whole project is 2 scaffold poles together and then an alloy on top. This one is going to lift and drop down the whole blooming lot because it's going to be too heavy for a man, unless I get one of those manual, clickety-click winches. I want to recover one of the alloy poles because Mike was here, M0 MSN, the other day, and he brought me a Sirio SY3, I think it is, a 10 metre 3-element Yagi, beautifully made. But it's designed for the CB market, but I mean it's tuned for 10 metres. It'll do 12, 10, 11, 10, that sort of thing. Of course, there is a bigger market for CB Yagis than there is for a dedicated 10 metre Yagi. They knew this, and of course invested in lovely castings and that sort of thing. So although it's not DX Commander, it'll still work. So we can manually hoist this thing up in the air. And that project is absolutely brilliant. I managed to design an 11 metre mast for literally $50, and I'll show you that. But let's get this dug in and somehow find a way of getting the tower down. So here's the tower, all right, this thing here. If the camera will pick it up, might be too bright for it. And we're going to put the winch as far away as possible from the falling derrick and the anchor. Now the thing is, at this anchor point here, I did make it particularly strong to hold the winch, to make sure everything did actually come over quite well. But now that I'm making everything so heavy, we will mark the ground where we want to put the winch, which will just be a tiny bit offset. Here's Stuart from the steel stockholders. Is that Stuart?
I can. Yeah, well, I'll cut it at 150 then. It's on the saw now for you.
Fine, so I just tip up in the morning?
Tomorrow morning's fine, yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Well, cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was a fella called Stuart. I was just ringing around trying to find either a piece of angle iron or a piece of box section so we can fit the winch to it. And he's got a piece of angle iron, nice and thick. We can drill it out and that will support the winch. So that's easy, okay? I mean, that's kind of not difficult. But I want to put a second tower up. This is the 18 metre pole. We did a video the other day on these fancy, this shot cord. By the way, that's worked really well. If you think about it, we've got 3 guys here that hold this thing up. Well, by extending another guy point, I'll show you what I mean. We can use these 2 guys here and put a third one here. We could put a little baby tower in the middle of this. And I'm thinking 2 aluminium poles, guide it there and there, rotator at the base, a lightweight 10 metre beam on the top. We should just be able to push it up like that. Done that before, but I was younger, possibly stronger. Chances are I'm not going to be able to push that up at my age. Although we've done it before, and I'll try it. I just think it's a bit much. We'll put a baby falling derrick in, a bit like the main tower here, but nothing like it. Just to get it off the ground and get it going. So need to hook this on something. Anything really. Oh, I know what we can do. We'll measure from that carabiner. Now, I seem to remember that was 6 meters. Oh, it's not. It is 6.6. Call it 6.5. Just over 13 meters. I want. There we go. Put it exactly there. That's 13.2. So I've got now a perfect triangle, because I already did the hard work here, you know. Alright, let's dig some holes. Django wants a quick play, I think. I've dug that much out, gone down about, I don't know, 14 or 15 inches, and we'll fill it with concrete. I've got to get rid of this first though, this stuff. Oh, that's a fair amount of weight. Oh, I'll just put it all down here. I found a scaffolding pole, but thinking about it, we'll bring the angle line, the angle grinder out here and cut it to suit. Oh, and we need bag of concrete. I bought 2 bags. We'll put, I think, 1.5 in this one. What I'm thinking of doing is mounting the winch and the cabinet at the top of it to put the batteries in. So I'll make it a whisker longer than they need to be. Or do we put it in? We put it in and then cut it afterwards. All dusty, and then that bit we can use for the third guy for the other mast, so we will leave that inside so it doesn't get rusty. It's been out for ages. Oh, I just sort of thought actually we might need to prop this up like at 45 degrees, then pour the concrete in. Let's have a look. I'm hoping we can kind of lay it against the fence, if you know what I mean. No, we should be able to, thinking about it. Oh, yes. That's upside down. That's the nasty cut piece there. I'll just make sure that's sticking the right way up. Yeah, we'll definitely cut the top off of that. I want it to look straight, so we can come to here and eyeball it off the mast. Yeah, it does. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, we could mount the cabinet kind of offset so it's square. All right. Let's dump a ton of concrete in there then. So if you think about it, the first time this winch will get used is when we take that thing down. And then we'll use the other half tomorrow for the other one. It's about half, roughly. I probably could do without any concrete in the other one anyway. Once I've got all the dry bits, it's it's turning out just about right. Looks about right to me. I've calculated the load. This we'll see. It's about, I reckon, about 800 kilos, maybe a bit less. That mast alone, I reckon it felt max Q. It felt about 40 kilos, 4/8. So it was 320 kilos at the end. I reckon we're doubling that. Yeah, okay, 650 kilos. I did have ChatGPT work it out, but I can't remember what the numbers were now. But basically this, with the winch mounted low down, and like a 1 foot cube of concrete that's settled in hard ground, it should be fine. If not, the whole thing will go whoosh. Now, I've previously said that I thought this tower weighed, I don't know, 650 kilos at the lifting point. I am actually way out. It's a lot less than that. The tower with 20 kilos of weight on top will end up weighing about 100 kilos. So the force of the winch at the 7 meter point is about 220 kilos. With a bit of safety, this is good for around and about 200 kilos. So we'll put a dead man, they call it a dead man anchor. A dead man anchor basically looks something like this. So we'll excavate a little bit, drill a hole, dig a little bit, and we'll put a dead man scaffolding pole about a foot underground, and that will just hold everything together. I mean, it's a proper engineering solution. You know, they use it on suspension bridges and harbours and all sorts of things. Dead man anchor. It'll basically save me digging a huge great hole and loads of concrete. So it's a cheap way out of it. So it was handy finding that Stuart fella. It's only about a mile away, and I managed to buy a massive piece of angle iron. Nearly half an inch thick. It'll take a hell of a lot of drilling, but at least it won't break. But we'll be able to mount that winch to it. But I just found out from ChatGPT I need at least 2 weeks for that concrete to set. So we've got to get on with some other jobs. Oh, difficult to see because I don't have a cameraman, but anyway. So this is what we've done. This is the 18 meter signature poles. It's got 3 guys. So all I'm doing is I'm using the 2 far guys here and here as the basis of tower number 2. So this is going to be fairly lightweight. The base is here. I did that yesterday. It's now today. And then the 3rd guy, so it's 120 degrees, is actually not far off this this 4 square here. That's the southeast 4 square. I've got to dig a hole here for a guy and a small hole just to support the pole, just here. But I'm right in the thick of servicing the little robot lawnmower, and I thought I'd sort of get that going, to be honest. I'm going to squirt all the nuts and bolts with WD-40 or something. It's all yuck. I've cross-threaded it. I can't get that thing back out. I probably could, and then I'll need to put a little tap in it. It looks about 5 mil, but not today. It'll spin round, so that's fine. And there's a little spider under that one. It's quite a big spider. He keeps coming in and out. I wanted to get him away, but anyway. I haven't told you this, but I bought a brand new ACOM 2020S. Well, I didn't buy it, actually. A rich friend of mine bought it. And plugged it in. 5 minutes later, it was not working. To cut a long story short, it was sent back to Bulgaria. And I was really panicking because I want that as part of the multi-2 thing, you know. So that'll be station 2's main amplifier. Anyway, to cut a long story short, it's on soak test right now. it's past diagnostics. Obviously they fixed it and put it on a soak test for 24 hours, so fingers crossed we'll get that roughly the back end of next week, and we can start to commission station 2. By the way, do you remember last week, if you're following the channel, I put these huge shock absorbers, massive shock cord things, and honestly it has worked quite well, but they need to be, I actually had to tighten them up, they were too loose. Anyway, let's squirt this some stuff in here and soften this old grass. And then we'll send it out to play, I think. I think I've switched it on. Oh, at least it'll chop up all the leaves, I guess. I've just changed the blades over. Well, I swapped them around. 180 degree job, you know. Maybe I should get the leaf blower, I don't know. I'll just let it do its thing, shall we? And we'll get on with life. So, for the bottom of the hinge, I thought we'd use this. I mean, it's cheap as chips. It's a scaffolding elbow, you know. So, you know, obviously that will. There we go. So I can sink that in the ground quite far, to be honest. Let's get the hammer. I've got a little lump hammer thing. There's an argument to say we don't even need. Whoops. An argument to say we don't even need concrete in this. Just to hold that thing, you know. That's fine. A little bit of concrete, just stop the wobble, you know. Alright, let's go on with the next one now. So the idea behind this tower is, I mean, I want it anyway, but I wanted it cheap as chips, and I want it as a demonstrator so that anybody, you know, could build it, as long as you've got two lightweight, the equivalent of aluminium scaffold poles, which you can get, although scaffolding suppliers don't like supplying them. I think they've stopped using them really, but and you can get on the roof rails of your car, if you know what I mean. And then we're going to put the rotator at the bottom like we did on the big mast, but instead of using the Yaesu G065 rotator bearings, which are expensive, what I've decided to do is, and I've done this before years and years ago, I'll use some UHM ultra high molecular weight polyethylene washers, a couple of them, some dry PTFE spray, and then another sheet on the top which will be the actual guy, and then the whole mast should be able to rotate with the PTFE and the ultra high molecular weight, you know, frictionless washers basically. But what is to stop these bearings falling down the mast? Now I've got these on a deal. They're split bearing, pole bearing, split shaft bearings, there we are. Something like that anyway. And these are alloy. Obviously they split. Now these are 50mm and the scaffold pole is 48.5. So I'm just looking at the size here. Yeah, they are actually 50. So I'll have to take them apart, just grind 1mm off each side, which is a whisker. Or I could shim it, you know, with like a Coke tin. And then the bearings will sit on top of here. We'll probably use some UHMW PE. And then like a signature 9 guy point. The whole thing should just, it could be under a bit of tension, but it should be enough. You got the rotator at the bottom. Yeah. And these were £9 for two. All right, so cheap as chips. All right, back to the field. So 2 poles, you know, almost breadboard stuff, you know, from the washing machine, from the kitchen, and a joiner. And I've got a really cool idea for a joiner. That's going to be homebrew as well. Let me finish this, I'll get back to you. what's that? Nearly 30 centimetres square. We'll put the post in the middle, we'll drill it down with a hammer and put a bit of concrete in the bottom. It'll be fine. I've done this so many times, and if it falls over, see, it's not going to hurt anybody. I really ought to save this because I don't know, to discard it, but I'll need both the bucket and this. So let me tip it over here for a minute and we can recover it afterwards. If we need to. Maybe I should have bought another bag of this stuff. Never mind. Oh, do you know what? That's enough. I don't need a whisker. I have so much to do. So much to do. It's a bit windy today. I was going to do the spraying outside. There's a tap down here, that's all. In fact, in here the wind's not too bad, so I might be able to spray. But I don't know, can I use white primer with black top coat? Or have I bought some grey primer? I just can't remember. Because you've got nothing to soak it up with. Almost too sloppy. Might not be, but it's all. We haven't got a lot, have we? We have not got a lot. Some lumps. It'll be a couple of weeks before we put the tower on anyway, so as it happens, most humans can spot whether something is 90 degrees or not. So within about half a degree apparently. That's okay there. That way a teeny bit. I mean, to be honest, I'm nearly done with guys now. I think that's it. After this, I've used up over the last few years about 20 poles. I've given some away. I wish I hadn't now. Otherwise we'll be asking the next workman, oh, you haven't got any poles, have you, mate? Oh, fine. Right, before the mower hits this one, let's sort this out as well. They'll never know. They'll never know. Straight? Yeah. Oh, I've got to drill some holes. I'll let it go off first. I might actually, thinking about it, I think what I did in the past is I literally got a bucket of water and then watered, you know, the top of the earth and sort of let it go a bit porridgey, and hopefully it will dry up a bit. So I'll do that. So I'm in two minds about what to do here. I mean, obviously this pole is far too big because Martin would be pleased. I repaired that radial this morning. The winch is, you know, about less than 30 centimetres off the ground, so all this is redundant. Unless I genuinely bolt on, it's just going to be a bit weird to bolt on that mast. The cabinet, so I can keep the batteries in there and all the controls for the winch. I think I've got a couple of little 1-inch poles, you know, we could just sort of put to the side, just hammer them in. That's what we did over here. This cabinet here, which is going to be for the 4 square and odds and ends. That was just, I think, a 1-inch 25mm tube. I just literally hammered it into the ground. Hopefully you got an idea of roughly what I'm doing here. But we've got the other another tower going up, and the one right next to you, actually, you're on the cabinet here, is going up to 60 feet or 20 meters, give or take, with 3-element Yagi on the top. So we could start building the 3-element Yagi, but I've promised myself to get 160 up and running over there. But since my poles are all bright yellow, I need to change the colours. We've got some white ones. The bottoms we need to spray a little bit black, and we can get the sides on at sort of 20 odd feet. I think it's 21 feet or something, 6 meters. And the middle, you can see the transition, really big post there. Oh, and I've bought some heavy rubber door stops as cushions for the poles to kind of sit on. I did have some UV spray. I don't know where it's gone. As is usual, you know, it's probably in my good idea at the time box. I've been 2 days at this and other bloody stuff as well. But I'll start rolling the cameras again to get to do the 160 dipole. This is just a bit of sort of fittings work in effect. And if you've got nothing better to do on a rainy night, maybe you might be watching this. Right, before I shut down, I'd be interested, have you ever made or put up your own mini-mast on 3 guys? I have. And I literally manhandle, I literally push it up from the bottom. If you've done that, I'll be interested to know how you've done some of these field days. It's easy with 4 guys, by the way, in a falling derrick, like we've got this big system here, but I didn't want even more guys in here, you know. Hey, enjoy your radio. See you next time. Bye for now.